Hey, what's up, guys, gals, non-binary pals? I'm back, more Figurama. I've been wanting to do this episode for so long. I've had Ryu and Chun-Li for a while, but I just finally got Fei Long. He's been sold out everywhere for such a long time. And if you haven't caught on to it yet, this is the new Jada Toys Street Fighter line. It's still pretty new at this point. Wave 2 is coming out now, I believe, but this is the complete Wave 1. Ryu, Fei Long, and Chun-Li from Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. Ultra Street Fighter 2 is actually a newer Street Fighter port of Super Street Fighter 2 back in the day. And obviously, you know, if you're my age and you grew up back then and you played fighting games back then, you know Street Fighter 2, you played Street Fighter 2, you loved Street Fighter 2. My Street Fighter 2 choice back then was definitely Super Street Fighter 2, which these are from. These are from Super Street Fighter 2. The New Challengers is the subtitle of that. The original Street Fighter 2, obviously Ryu and Chun-Li are from that with the original characters, but Fei Long was one of the actual new 4 characters they added into Super Street Fighter 2. Fei Long, T-Hawk, DJ, and Cammy were the 4 new characters. And I'm so excited to open these figures. I've heard these figures are amazing by my friend Custom by Matt, and I'm so happy to have them. So we'll check them out today, compare them to the video game originals, and compare them to a couple different sources too. Because obviously I can recognize these guys. They're very close to the game, Super Street Fighter 2 back in the day, but they're also very close to something that's near and dear to my heart. One of my favorite childhood animes, the Street Fighter anime, which was absolutely amazing. All these characters were in it, especially Chun-Li. I actually made a mistake the other day. I actually was showing my 8-year-old son the movie, and I completely forgot there was a nude shower scene with Miss Chun-Li in it. That was very unnecessary, by the way, but I completely forgot that scene was in there. And you know, when it came on the screen, I was like, oops. So man, I'm excited to have these figures. I got the Mega Man figures by Jada Toys on the way too. Video soon. But let's dig in and check them out. So we'll just check out one of the boxes, since all the boxes are the same, other than, you know, the front picture right here, obviously the name right there and what's in the window. But I must say that this is one of my favorite box designs of all time. This is genius. This is so amazing. It's set up like an arcade cabinet with the arcade controls right there. It's got the life bars up top. This is packaging perfection right here. I love everything about this package, everything about it. On the side, you have a nice sort of splash shot of one of my other favorite characters, Cammy. Hopefully she's coming out soon. Going to the other side, you have more of a splash shot right here. And you have Ryu in his country of origin, Japan, fighting style, martial arts. And here's actually the rest of them, since these are all different. So Fei Long, country of origin, Hong Kong, Kung Fu. Chun-Li, obviously from China, Chinese martial arts. The art is the same on all of them. And when you go to the back too, it actually is the same at the back too. But again, the back is amazing. It's like, this is the character select screen from Ultra Street Fighter 2, the final challengers. Because remember, the style of these characters are from the old Street Fighters. Super Street Fighter 2, the new challenge. The branding on these packages is the final challengers. This was a modern remake of Super Street Fighter 2 for the modern systems, and it was received very poorly because of the graphic style in it. The graphic style was just terrible. Terrible. But it doesn't matter. These are classic characters, and they're based, in my mind, on the old video game version and the Street Fighter movie. All right, let's slice and dice and release these guys from their prisons. Note to self, open these from the bottom. They come out a lot easier if you open them from the bottom because of the shape of the plastic. So, bottoms out. So Mr. Ryu is here, and I believe it's pronounced Ryu. That's how they pronounce it in the movie, okay? You can say Ryu if that's you. It's okay. But man, oh man, like this is my first ever experience with Jada Toys. And I know Jada Toys used to be They did a lot of like die-cast vehicles and stuff like that before they recently got into action figures. And the reason they were on my radar originally is because I heard that the quality of their figures, the Street Fighter, the serial ones, Chester Cheetah and everything so far, are super good for the price. Meaning these Street Fighter figures, the retail on them, I think it's only $24.99. The Mega Man figures just released are only $19.99, right? And obviously Street Fighter has some good figures, but most of them are imports. And the imports are, $80, $90. So this, in comparison to them, is like night and day price-wise, and just, initial impressions getting him out of the box. This seems, to me, this seems like it's worth every penny. Like, the articulation is so good, which we'll go over in a second, but so is all the sculpting details and everything. He definitely matches his aesthetic in those old games, Ryu. He's the main character, I guess you can say. He's just the neutral character. Ryu and Ken were the hey, if you don't know how to play, use one of those two guys. They're pretty good at everything. I was more of a Ken person growing up. A little after that, I became a Ryu person, or a Kami person, I guess you could say. But Ryu is Ryu, you know what I mean? The biggest thing that stood out to me, right, taking this guy out of the package, Mr. Ryu here, honestly, is this vest right here. This vest is all soft plastic. I did not know it was going to be like this. I thought, just looking at it from a distance, it was hard. Like it wouldn't move or anything, but it's all soft plastic. It's super nice texture. It's got a super nice texture in there. It's got textured bands. He's got, his black belt. Obviously, he's a black belt. Going down to his legs, it's definitely light there, which won't hinder movement whatsoever. Ryu, the star of one of the greatest video game intros in video game history. Like these guys, the sculpt work looks really good. The head is definitely a little cartoony, but I think it does match those old video games. He's definitely got that sort of beefy quality that in the later Street Fighters showed up a little bit, like Street Fighter 5 and 6. All the guys got a little, beefier, where they might have looked a little more slender, I guess, back in the old days. But this is definitely on the beefier side for sure. He's got all the natural, Ryu colors here. He's got this off-white clothes on. It's not quite white, but it's not quite gray either. It's off-white. His signature red, wrist guards, red bandana, bare feet. All the notes here, all the design elements and stuff look so good compared to the old games. So good. How they transferred this into 3D with the quality that it is pretty darn. It's an amazing achievement for Jada Toys. And that's just the surface level stuff. The articulation is pretty darn amazing. He's got obviously, normal, he's got a ball joint up there. The neck is jointed too. The coloring is a little bit off, meaning his head is a little darker than his neck and his body, but it's not too much off. The head actually does look a tiny bit small to me too, but it doesn't look bad. He does have an alternate head, which we'll look at in a second after we go over articulation. So obviously, he's got a lot of movement. He can look up about that much, down about that much, side to side. He does do the Exorcist. There are butterfly joints in there, pretty big butterfly joints, which make it go, forward and backwards pretty much. He can go, wow, look at that joint. He can go up above 90 degrees, slightly above 90 degrees. Does have a bicep swivel right there. Double elbows, obviously. The fist he has is forward and backwards articulated, so he can go forward and backwards, do a little uppercut motion right there, Man, that looks so good. And then going down to the waist, he does have a ball joint up top. There doesn't appear to be any articulation at the bottom. I think the abs, it's hard to tell. The abs are moving a little bit when I do this. So there probably is a swivel there. But obviously, the clothes keep it from turning too much, I think. But he does have a ball joint up here. Probably a swivel at the waist. Going down to the legs right here. He can go out. Oh, man. The posability on this figure is crazy. So he can go out to about 90. He can go straight forward to about 90 right there too. Man, so good. He's got the thigh swivel right there. Go all the way around. Double knees, obviously. You can get a good range of motion right there. Look at that. With the foot like that. I really like the phrase down here, how there's a big gap between the skin and the phrase. It looks super realistic. It looks super close to the old, video game. Then the foot will go back for about that much, forward for about that much. There is a swivel in there, so it can go different directions. It can rock back and forth. So there's a lot of posability. There's a ton of posability everywhere. Like, holy smokes. Like, I'm so impressed with this. Like, just initial impressions, so impressed with this. This is so good. He definitely fits the aesthetic of the game. Ryu, this is Street Fighter Ryu right here. And he can get any pose, I think, that you'll want him to get. Like I said, he does come with an alternate head, like an angry head. This is more of a, stoic, I'm ready head. And this is his, what'd you say about my mama head? And there's definitely some screenshots from the game that I could put here that match these heads. These heads are honestly really good. Really, really good. He also comes with two open hands. They're not really open, I guess. These are his fireball hands. Whenever he did this Hadoken in the game, he had these sort of hands. So we'll get those on and take a peek at him. Sort of like that. His hands don't stay together perfectly. I've read online, some people putting clear rubber bands around their hands, around his hands to keep them together. So he's got more of that Hadoken pose. But still, the posability is amazing. At first, you don't think these hands would even go together at all. But because of the butterfly joint and the double joints there and how smooth all the joints are, they get together pretty well. If they sprawled out a little bit flatter, maybe it would look a little bit better. But this is so close to looking exactly like the game. And this posability is just amazing. It's amazing. Jada Toys, man, this is a killer figure right here. Killer figure. There's not a lot of accessories, right? We're on the last accessory already. But again, remember, these are $24. And this is obviously a Ryu Fireball. This looks amazing. I know there's a couple different versions of Ryu. There's a Gray Player 2 version, and there's also an Evil version that was a con exclusive, I think, or something like that. And it has a red fireball, because you can do the red fireball too. But this is his normal blue fireball. It looks so amazing. Insane. The best is the front, though. I'm saving the best for last. When you actually put it at the front, it's translucent, and it actually has the impression of his hands doing the Hadoken. That is such an amazing touch. I had no idea these were like this. No idea. I haven't watched reviews about him. I've only heard, through the grapevine how good this series is so far. But that is a freaking amazing touch. It's actually not hard plastic on the top. It's actually soft plastic. You could bend these sort of, energy spikes, energy flails going from him. And you would say to yourself, yeah, he's got a fireball to shoot. But how about in my display? Well, they thought of that. It comes with a display stand for the fireball. So you just put it together like that, and then there's a hole on here somewhere. Try to find it through the camera. There it is. So bam, now you have a fireball for your display that looks like he's, throwing the Hadoken with the hand imprint inside. It looks so amazing. It looks so good. But man, this is an amazing effect piece right here. And this is definitely an amazing start to the series. So Jada Toys Ultimate Street Fighter 2, the final challengers, Ryu. This figure is amazing. This is like a 10 out of 10. It's near perfection. I think maybe the face color could be a little color corrected, but everything is so good. The articulation is amazing. Amazing. I can't wait to open the other figures. All right, we're gonna do Mr. Fei Long next. He battled Ryu in the movie, so I want to do him next. Oh, I forgot to go over the backdrop. Each figure comes with a backdrop based on their background from the first game. Oh man. So I need to tell you, it looks so good. It's pixelated, so it's, the 16-bit look to it. which is why I say I think these characters are based more on their old, pixel versions rather than the new Ultra Street Fighter 2 Final Challengers, modern game with the really terrible Flash looking graphics. This looks way better. All right, Fei Long, one of the 4 new fighters for Super Street Fighter 2. Like I said, he was definitely one of my favorite. Him and Cammy were easily my favorite. He was so cool. He's definitely very inspired by Bruce Lee. Even in his storyline, his backstory, he's a Hollywood actor that also wants to really challenge himself and really fight people. And that's actually from the Street Fighter movie too. That's how he sort of met Ryu in the movie. He had he saw them. He was working on a movie set. He saw Ryu, and he went to battle him in like an underground fighting thing. And Ryu kicked his butt. I mean, didn't kick his butt. It was pretty even, but he definitely got his face smashed in. And Fei Long is he's just as cool as Ryu. Like, he's got the same base articulation model here. The stylings are so good. He's even got shading on a lot of the musculature on him. Like, it looks so good. This looks so good. I don't know what Jada Toys is doing making figures this good for this price point. Please don't raise it, but that's not me saying raise it or anything like that. But the legs have, a really good texture work on them. He's got the really good sculpted musculature and the shading, like I said before. The head looks really good too. The head looks very angular, very artistic, but that's exactly what he looked like in Super Street Fighter 2. It's so good. It's so good. I don't know. He looks so good. He definitely looks a little bulkier than I remember him in my memory from the game. But I mean, if you compare him to Ryu, he's definitely more slender than Ryu. Like, Ryu is definitely bigger and bulkier than him. So I guess he does match the aesthetic when you put them together. But man, the quality of the articulation and the quality of the sculpt work and paint work and stuff, this is another home run right here. So let's check out the articulation. Like I said, he's basically just like Ryu. So that's his, looking up right there. He can look down about that much. He's got some swivel around there. Can do the Exorcist. Obviously, there's a ball joint there, and there's articulation on the neck. There's another ball on the neck right there. He's got smaller butterfly joints than Ryu, but there's still so much movement. Look how far back that goes, and then how far forward it can crunch in there. Man, they did such a good job with these joints. He can go to about 90 degrees, maybe a little over 90 degrees. Does have the bicep swivel right there. Obviously, the arm can go all the way around. Double elbows. Punching fists. He comes with punching fists, and they go forward and backwards. So these are forward and backwards. In the range of movement on these hands, oh man, that's huge right there. It's actually more than Ryu's. He's got a ball joint in there. You don't get a lot of movement there because of the shape of the sculpt, I think, but I definitely think it's enough to get what you want to get. Look at that. Look at that. That looks so good. He does have obviously a swivel right there at the waist, and the waist movement is not all that much, but you can definitely probably get the poses you want for sure. Down to the legs, I'm sure it's about the same as Ryu. Yep, 90 degrees, almost 90 degrees, maybe a little teeny bit less than 90 degrees out that way. Thigh swivel right there. Double knees. So an amazing amount of movement in the legs again, just like that. Going down to the feet, you have the ball joint in the feet, and go all the way back, all the way forward, and then again, you can go in different directions, and then rock a little bit back and forth, not that much. But man, I'm sort of blown away by these figures so far. This looks so good. It really matches the aesthetic of the old game. Really looks like it fits in with the line for sure. I'm gonna have fun posing these guys. That's for sure. So his head that he has on here is sort of just his, static frowny face, for lack of a better term, frowny face. And then his other head is pretty similar. It's pretty similar, but the mouth is a little bit different. It's slightly open. It's slightly more sort of relaxed. I really wish it had his bloody head. After you beat him in battle and it shows his bloody head in the little talking box. Oh man, I have that etched in my memory forever. But this is the look. This is the look I always have etched in my memory from him, is, you know, his frowny face. He does come with 2 hands too, and these are you know, just sprawled out sort of fingers, which he did, you know, he did a loose Bruce Lee sort of fighting style. And so his hands were sprawled out like this occasionally. These hands are articulated up and down also. And, you know, this is his sort of fighting style that he had in the game, with his hands like that a lot of the time. It looks so good. The fingers are sculpted really good. And then, of course, he had to come with an effect piece. And this is his effect piece right here. It's hollow in there, which is for his leg. But let's talk about this first. It's softer plastic. I guess the translucent plastic. I'm not an expert on plastics, okay? I'm not a customizer or anything like that. But I guess, you know, a lot of these clear plastics, it's maybe, you know, this softer plastic, this sort of more pliable plastic. But I mean, the sculpt work on here looks amazing, especially the color shading. It looks like a gummy. I really want to eat this like it's a gummy, a gummy fireball of some sort. And I just love the dark orange as it goes up to the yellow right there. And then there's some, you know, darker orange around the outside due to the translucency. It's a little darker around the outside. And this is where it goes. And I am shocked. I am in shock that he can get this pose. I am absolutely in shock. This move is called Shien Kayako. And it's, you know, a fire spinning upper kick. Fire kick, upper kick. Does that make sense? Is that a thing? Upper kicks? Anyways, but this is what he looks like in the game. It's almost straight up against his body and his other leg's almost straight down. And he gets this pose. It looks amazing. This is insane. The posability of the legs is just crazy. This is crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy. Look at that. It's not quite straight up and down, but I mean, man, that's so close. So close. And this is pretty much the pose from the game. I've compared it to some screenshots from the game. So it doesn't really go straight up and down with his body. He does lean back a little bit. This is the exact pose from the game. I can't even get it in frame, but this is so cool. This is so amazing. This is another 10 out of 10 right here. I love this Fei Long figure. Fei Long's one of my favorite from back in the day, and that just slips off, obviously. And this figure looks... This is bringing me back. This is bringing me back to playing Super Street Fighter 2 back in the day. Oh man, this is so amazing. Amazing couple figures to start the series. And just like Ryu, obviously, he does come with, you know, his own backdrop here. This is, again, his backdrop from the video game. It's 16-bit. It's nice and pixelated. Finger licking good. And now the fighting queen. If it wasn't for Felicia and Cammy, you wouldn't be third place. You'd be number one, Chun-Li, but sorry, Felicia and Cammy always come first. But being one of the original video game heroines back in the day, main characters back in the day, I love Chun-Li. A strong female character. Cha-ching. Ooh, boy. Oh boy, Chun-Li is absolutely amazing. Amazing. I love the design of the costume. This is obviously her original blue costume. She's gone through many different costumes along the way, but this is, you know, Super Street Fighter 2. So this is the original Super Street Fighter 2 costume. She had, obviously, you know, the pantyhose. I don't know if that's the proper term for what she's wearing. Leggings. The dark leggings on it, obviously much darker than her skin, right? Her traditional sort of hair wraps here, you know, the Princess Leia sort of hair going on. And man, the sculpt work on the head is very, very, very good. The sculpt work and the paint work on the head, especially. Fei Long and Ryu's paintwork on their heads is probably, you know, pretty good, but this one is like perfection. This one is perfect. I love all the notes on, you know, the cloth that's holding her hair together in the buns, the Princess Leia buns. Going down to the costume, she's got her, you know, signature puffy shoulders there. This piece, obviously, this piece is a very loose plastic right here. She does have, I mean, I'm not looking at it, but she does have underwear, and it's actually textured. I noticed it's textured with a different texture. I don't. Okay, that's enough of that. But yeah, it goes around to the back. It's that same soft plastic that's not going to hinder the leg movement at all because it's such soft plastic. It's not like, you know, that medium soft plastic. It's like soft plastic. It feels really good, and it's definitely going to get out of the way for sure. These spiked wrist pieces, which obviously, you know, she had in the original figures, or she had in her original video game appearances. It's a separate piece, so it can move around. So if you do want to take this off for whatever reason, I'm sure you could pop the hand off, pop that right off there. She does not have butterfly joints. We'll go over the articulation. The legs are that very, you know, dull color right here, going down to these off-white boots right here. It's got, you know, sculpted laces on it and stuff. And the sculpt work and the design notes and just the overall look of this figure is so good. I had no idea, no clue I would like these figures as much as I am. This Jada Toys series is just, I don't know, this is out of bounds. This is crazy for a newer toy company. For the price point it's at, oh man, this looks so good. So her articulation is pretty much the same. There's no butterfly joints here, obviously, but you know, she's got a ball joint on the head, and the neck does move too. And she does have that collar around her neck, but it doesn't hinder the movement that much. So I'm super impressed with a lot of the design choices. So that's her looking up. She can look down quite a lot. It does rock back and forth quite a lot. She can do the exorcist. It is a ball joint in there. Like I said, no butterfly joints here at all. Her arm does, you know, go around pretty good, and it doesn't hurt the arm movement other than just missing that butterfly joint right there. So the arm can go about 90 degrees out. She does have a bicep swivel. It's actually hidden down this sleeve right here, pointing down. It's such a good design choice. Like, Jada, you guys deserve all the props I'm giving you for this video. That's such a good design choice, hiding the bicep swivel in there rather than making this whole thing move around, because it looks, you know, like she's wearing clothes. Thumbs up. No shower scene here. And she does have double elbows. Some companies, you know, Marvel Legends and stuff, forgo double elbows on female figures. Maybe they're doing it more nowadays, but, you know, not all the time. So she does have double elbows. She can get a great range of movement there. The punching fists she comes with are forward and backwards. And again, it's a really big range. That is so much bigger than like a Marvel Legends figure or a G.I. Joe figure. It's so much more range. Now the waist is one of her best articulated points. She's got a ball joint up top, and look at this movement right here. Ball joint up top and another ball joint at the bottom too, not just a swivel. Man, she can just get around in crazy poses. She's almost got a crunch like a G.I. Joe figure. That is amazing articulation for the middle, amazing. And it does match her costume too, you know, from the original game, so they made it work. You know what I mean? They did their homework with this figure. And obviously, you know, her pelvic piece right here, I don't know what you want to call this. This is actually soft too. So it does go up when you put the leg up. So she can go 90 degrees too. Let's see how much she can go forward. She can go forward about 90 degrees. It's kind of misleading with her bending over like that. But again, this thing does not get in the way whatsoever because it's such soft plastic. She's got the thigh swivel right there, like all the rest. Double knees, which can probably go back quite a lot. Maybe it's a little bit less than Ryu and Fei Long for sure. And that's because she's got thicker legs. Obviously, you know, she's known for her thighs, okay? So she's got some thick thighs, some thick calves here. One thing to note here, one cool thing is she does have another swivel right here. There is a swivel right there at her shin. So she's got a shin swivel. And then her feet go about that far back, way forward. And then it's the same sort of ball joint as the other figures. So it can go around There's not that much side to side, to be honest, but I mean, again, there's no limitation there at all. The articulation is amazing on her, amazing. The only thing she's missing is the butterfly joints, but the sacrifice from that to make this look as good as it does with the paint details, you know, the sculpted on cloth folds and everything, man, this looks freaking amazing. She does come with an alternate head, so, you know, her first head that's on there, just a neutral head, much like the other figures. Her alternate head is, you know, that sort of, you know, yelling head, hi-ya, which again looks amazing. The paint job and the sculpt work and everything, it looks so good. I think her head is definitely the best head of the bunch. I think the sculpt work on the body and her clothes are the best of the bunch too, but there's no slouch here. These are all three so far, 10 out of 10 figures for sure. And then the two hands she comes with are just two, you know, straight edge hands, like knife hands, if you want to call them that. And that's her with her straight hands on there. Like I said again, scissor hands, knife hands, yeah. And then she does come with an effect piece too. And obviously her effect piece is going to be lightning kick. And much like the other ones, it's softer, translucent, semi-translucent plastic. It does get darker at the tip and fades up. So again, I love the design notes on here. I love the sculpt work. I love the look of it with the fade right there. And man, this is her famous, you know, if you played Chun-Li back in the day, you know, her lightning kick, and this is it. That is so cool. I'll have to mess with the pose to get it, you know, game accurate, but at least you know, I guess you could put your foot in any one of these if you want it to go, you know, higher or lower. I guess I'll keep it in the middle for now. But man, this was her, you know, signature move back in the day. That's why she's got the thighs of steel. And it does come with a stand, just like Ryu's fireball. But I mean, because obviously if you put this on there and try to stand her up, it probably does weigh her down. So that's why it comes with the stand right here. So again, this is an amazing touch. This is an amazing piece. These are, you know, amazing details for a $24 figure. This is not an $80 import figure. This is a, you know, $24 figure that looks absolutely ballin', like amazing. And just like the others too, she has her classic background from the game, pixelated 16-bit. Amazing. Let's get the guys with the chicken. And there's all three of them compared to each other. You can see, clearly see Fei Long is the tallest of the bunch. He stands at about a little over 6 inches tall. Chun-Li's about 5 3/4. And Mr. Ryu is about 6 also. So he's almost as tall as Fei Long. Fei Long's a hair taller than him. Just a hair. But they're all about 6 inches. So if you're a 6-inch collector, these will fit right in on your shelves and look completely natural with the rest of your figures. So I'm going to play with them now, take some pictures, and we're going to go to final thoughts. Alright guys, gals, non-binary pals, these figures are friggin' amazing. This is a great start to the series. Jada Toys, you get 2 thumbs up. I love almost everything about the figures. They're so poseable. They're so much fun to pose. They really look like they're straight from Super Street Fighter 2 back in the day, the new challengers, and I can't wait to get more in this series. This series is going to be so good. I can't wait for the Jada Mega Man figures to come in. Like, I don't know, 10 out of 10, there's not enough good things I can say about these figures. I haven't found one fault in these. I know some people have had bad paint apps and stuff like that, but mine look fine, so I'm gonna go with it. They look freaking awesome. Ryu was one of my fighters back in the day. Fei Long was one of my favorite of the new 4 that got introduced in Super Street Fighter 2. And Chun-Li is Chun-Li. Chun-Li is an amazing, strong female character back in the day that could whoop the men's butts. with her lightning kicks. And man, oh man, am I glad to have these figures. If you're interested in these figures, check the links below. And thanks for tuning in. And thanks for watching Figurama. I really appreciate any support that I get. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace out.